So today we have Moana here with her dad, Tui. So Moana's been acting out against her father's wishes to become the chief of the tribe and is also going against his demands to stay out of the ocean, especially going beyond the reef. So the increased anxiety and tension between the two of them has caused some issues with other members of her nuclear family and members of her social life, and it has branched out and extended to members of the tribe as a whole. So Moana first came to me alone with these issues, but after hearing more about her presenting issue and mainly a lot of the issues stemming between her and her father, it became clear to me that we needed to bring dad in to try and work through the stress and tension, within the family. So hi again, Moana, and welcome, Tui. Thank you for agreeing to come into therapy with Moana today. So just to clarify, this is a safe space for the both of you to work through some of the emotions and conflicts that you may be experiencing while you're here. So how have you both been feeling?
Well, I've been really busy taking care of the island while Moana is still acting out and not listening to the things that I tell her. All
Mhm.
I want is for her to stay away from the water and not think about it anymore.
And I've still been feeling the same. I'm stressed and I feel like this isn't fair to me. When I think about it, our tribe has been sailors and explorers for years since the creation, and all I want to do is go out and canoe and explore the ocean, and he won't let me. All he cares about is me fulfilling my duties as the new chief, which at this point is something that I'm not ready for yet.
Well, the ocean is dangerous. What if you get hurt? I would never forgive myself. And who would be the chief once your mother and I pass on?
Well, as the current chief, you would think you would be more concerned with our island's lack of fish. We haven't been able to catch a good batch in weeks now. We have to go beyond the reef. You need to realize that.
No, no one goes beyond the reef.
Okay, so I'm going to interject here for just a moment to break up this tension a little bit. So you both sound incredibly frustrated with one another. With this increased stress from the shortage of food, to the tension between you, Moana, wanting to explore and have some sense of independence from, your family, this has caused a lot of strain between you two. And this is, again, branched out among the rest of the family or even the tribe, I'm sure.
Yeah, it really has. When anyone talks to me or I hear any conversations going on, all anyone is concerned about is the food shortage that's happening. And my dad doesn't seem to care much about it. All he wants to do is continuously fight with me and my mom. But when we're fighting, the whole tribe gets upset. They are all put on edge because they don't feel like they have a leader that's being progressive to try to solve our problem. I just really wish my mom was here right now so I felt like I had someone backing me up in this.
Well, Moana, I do understand your frustration with that and where you're coming from. Since mom isn't here right now, though, I would like to shift focus over to your dad for a moment. So, Tui, how have you been feeling in all of this?
Definitely, I've been more anxious. When I was younger, my friend and I were in a canoeing accident, and unfortunately, he didn't make it. And this has scarred me. Ever since then, I made an oath to myself that I would never even canoe beyond the reef again. That, of course, extends to my family and my tribe. I hate it when Moana goes near the water because it reminds me of that time and that experience. So I shut her off from the ocean entirely. She will be the chief someday. What does she need to worry about the ocean for?
Do you see what I mean? He never lets me do anything because he's scared of something that happened in his past. He doesn't want me to have his same experiences. So instead of letting me be a kid and learn and grow, he puts me on this pedestal about being the chief. And I'm frustrated. I feel like I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah, Moana, and I remember from our last session, and I briefly mentioned this earlier, that a lot of this frustration, it kind of comes from you feeling you want to gain some level of independence from mom and dad, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they're not doing anything to let that happen.
Your mother and I expect you to take on the role of chief someday. That's how it goes. Your whole life has been leading up to this.
But you never just let me be a kid. You have kept me away from the ocean my whole life, while other tribe members, they get to go out and swim and play in the water, while my whole youth has been stuck in the huts with you, learning about the tribe and learning about how to prepare to be the next chief. And I'm a kid right now, and I feel like I haven't had the chance to do anything that normal kids get to do. I don't get left alone to gain my own independence, to learn things my own way. I don't know. I don't want to cut myself off from you guys, but I want to be my own person.
You don't want to cut yourself off? What are you talking about? You distance yourself from us all the time now.
So, if I may, I would like to say that her distancing herself from you and the family it's pretty common with high levels of tension and stress right now. It's called emotional distancing. So, like I said, it's very common whenever there's high levels of stress within a family system, and especially when all of that feels like it's being directed at her. It's almost her way of attempting to, kind of lower that intensity and take a step back and maybe hoping that it'll, kind of dissipate on its own. Would you say that's right, Moana?
Yeah, I would, because I hate seeing all of us fight and I hate being involved in the fights. It makes me feel really uncomfortable and I don't want to be in that kind of environment. So I try to distance myself.
Well, you are to be the leader one day, the chief. And how do we expect you to be that if you are always running away from your troubles? Also, so what if I'm afraid of the water? I have my reasons, as I've explained to you over and over. And I'm your father. You should take my word for it. The ocean isn't safe. And when the fish run out, we can live off coconuts. I don't even know why we're here. The answers are so simple.
Tui, your feelings are valid. You had a very traumatic experience with the water growing up. And, as a parent, you use past experiences and you want to protect your kids from everything and everyone, no matter how big or small. However, these feelings of anxiety that you feel about the water and the high expectations you've put onto Moana to become the chief, you've pushed both of these onto her for so long, they've been impairing her. This relationship pattern, within your nuclear family, we often call it impairment of one or more children. And that's when, the parent or guardian will push their emotional stressors onto their children. And in your case, with the excessive worry about the child, for your case with Moana, it came with an idealized view of her to become the perfect chief one day. So all of this resulting in the stress of the family pattern, Moana, acting out, as you said, and, trying to back away from family troubles, it's honestly a very normal reaction for her. So, when I say that to you, how does that make you feel?
Confused. I don't think I'm holding her back at all. The way I see it is I'm protecting her from the dangers of the ocean so she can focus on how she's going to someday lead the tribe.
I hear what you're saying, Dad. I understand the importance of preparing to be the next chief. I know that that is a huge role for me, but I've always felt like I've just existed as the chief's daughter and never as Moana. That's why I started to explore things and learn more about myself and our beautiful island, including finding my love for canoeing and the ocean. I know you had a bad experience, Dad, but I haven't. And when I'm in the ocean or around it, I feel free. I feel curious. I want to explore more. I'm not running away from my problems like you think I am. I just want to learn to live how I want to.
That's good, Moana. So, going off of that a little bit, I would like to try a technique with the both of you that may emphasize a little bit what Moana is trying to tell to you, Tui. And this is going to be mainly focused with you, but it involves the both of you. So, what this technique does, what reframing is it allows you to kind of see an issue or a scenario or even a whole relationship in a new perspective. So, Tui, let's look at the issue that you've brought up a few times now, which is Moana wanting to explore the ocean and have some free time to really figure out who she is while you're trying to get her to recognize her responsibilities as the future chief. So you see her wanting to canoe and being in the ocean is dangerous and a waste of time because of your past, But you also pointed out that there's been a scarcity of fish in the shallows where you guys always fish, and it could potentially become void of fish entirely if you're not careful. So your tribe survives off of fish, so you would need that food source. But if you don't allow even just your fishermen to practice canoeing beyond the reef, the people won't really have the ability to fish there, and you'll then they'll eventually starve without finding a more stable food source besides coconuts. So Moana wanting to canoe for enjoyment, but also doing it consistently, can help her better develop canoeing skills. And that way she can not only be safe in the water, but she can teach the other fishermen and other tribe members how to canoe beyond the reef as well. So this will ensure that the tribe will continue to have that food source while also carrying, more responsibility as the chief, because, she'll be leading them, teaching them new skills, but then she'll also be providing them with the food source. So I think in that aspect, she is, starting to understand some of the responsibilities she would have.
Uh, well, that makes a lot of sense. I guess I never really thought of it that way, but don't get me wrong, I am still always going to be scared for my daughter being out in that water. I've seen the dangers firsthand and what could happen to our people.
I like that you care for me. It makes me feel loved that you want to protect me, but I can canoe with the skilled fishers from our tribe, and they can teach me all the things that I don't know yet. And then we can all slowly inch our way out to the deeper waters. I know it will take time for me and for everyone else to learn and to become more comfortable with this, but I think it's the best thing for our tribe and for me gaining independence to become the best future chief that I can.
Well, I think maybe if I watch from the sand and I could maybe let you try in the very, very shallow waters first with just a few of the fishers.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay, so I think that might be one of the tasks that I leave you both with for the next week. I think we've made a lot of really good progress today. So, Dad, I really would like to thank you for starting to come to therapy with Moana. I know it can be a difficult and uncomfortable challenge and experience, but again, this is always a safe space for you and Moana to work through these feelings. So next week, when you guys come in, since I'll have the both of you now, I'd like to start kind of mapping out your family tree. We call it a genogram, but it's just a fancy term for a family map. And it's important. It's an important part of our family process. And I think it can help me get a better understanding of your family system as a whole. And maybe we can start to see if there's any trends within your family of even just like the high expectations or even the anxieties. So we can start to go through the past few generations next week when you come in, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm really looking forward to this week. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So a recap of what we just did. So Moana and Tui have had a strung out relationship lately, which stemmed from Tui's fear of the ocean being pushed onto Moana. So even if she didn't share those anxieties, they came with their own repercussions and they kind of created a ripple effect among the whole family. So we talked about the issue of impairment of a child within the nuclear family, where he not only pushed his anxieties onto her, but he also had an idealized view of Moana to become the next chief, um, and to be perfect at it. So I reframed one of the situations of her, wanting to canoe um, in the shallows and like kind of honing her skills and how those could benefit the future of the tribe, which also means that she's starting to understand some of the responsibility that she has. So when we were ending off, I told them that we would like to start creating a genogram for the family so that we could begin to break down the complexities and specifically for like the high anxiety levels and the high expectation settings within the family to see if there's a trend there.